Hey there, adventurers! Welcome to our channel. Today we are going on an exciting journey back in time to learn about the Vikings and how they discovered America way before Christopher Columbus. Can you believe that? Let's set sail and find out how it happened. So, who were the Vikings? The Vikings were brave explorers, traders, and warriors from Scandinavia, which is now Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. They lived more than 1,000 years ago. Imagine a time when there were no planes, cars, or even big cities like today. Vikings traveled by sea in their amazing ships called longships. These ships were super fast and strong, perfect for exploring unknown lands. The Vikings loved to explore. They didn't just stay home in their villages, they sailed far and wide across the ocean. They were some of the first people to visit many new places. They discovered Iceland, settled in Greenland, and then, guess what? They were the first Europeans to set foot in North America. How did they find America? Well, let's talk about a very famous Viking explorer named Leif Erikson. Leif was the son of a powerful Viking named Eric the Red. Eric the Red had already discovered and settled in Greenland. But Leif wanted to go further. One day, he heard stories about a mysterious land west of Greenland. So, like any good Viking, he decided to find it himself. Leif gathered a group of brave Vikings, got into a big longship, and sailed into the unknown. Can you imagine how scary and exciting that must have been? They sailed for days, maybe even weeks. Finally, they spotted land. They named this new land Vinland because they found wild grapes growing there. Today, we think Vinland was part of what we call Newfoundland in Canada. But what did the Vikings do when they got to Vinland? They explored the land and found that it was full of wonderful resources. There were forests, rivers, and plenty of wildlife to hunt and fish. The Vikings built some small houses, called longhouses, to stay in during the winter. Imagine living in a wooden house with a grass roof, surrounded by dense forests. The Vikings didn't stay in Vinland for too long, though. They faced some challenges. The weather was harsh, and they had conflicts with the native people who lived there, whom they called the Skraelings. These encounters weren't always friendly, and after a few years the Vikings decided it was best to return to Greenland and Norway. Even though they didn't stay in America for long, the Vikings' journey was still amazing. They sailed across the Atlantic Ocean, discovered new lands, and were brave explorers long before Columbus was even born. Their stories were passed down through generations and eventually written down in books called the sagas. So, why don't we hear more about the Vikings discovering America? For a long time, people didn't know if the stories in the sagas were true or just myths. But then, in the 1960s, archaeologists found a Viking settlement in Newfoundland, Canada, at a place called L'Anse aux Meadows. This proved that the Vikings really were the first Europeans in North America. Isn't that incredible? The Vikings were more than just warriors with horned helmets. They were fearless explorers who traveled farther than anyone else at the time. They didn't have maps or compasses like we do today. They used the stars, the sun, and their knowledge of the sea to guide them on their journeys. That's pretty cool, right? Today we remember the Vikings for their courage and their spirit of adventure. Their discovery of America shows us that history is full of surprises. Who knows what other mysteries from the past are still waiting to be discovered? Thank you for joining us on this amazing journey. If you want to learn more cool facts about history and explore other mysteries from the past, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.